Sup people, Base Brawler here, and during this video I'm going to be upgrading Risotto. I was gonna say a roast at first, and now I was gonna say Rizzo, but no, it's Risotto. I don't know what I was thinking in my head. But anyway, in this video I'm gonna be upgrading him while I go over why I think that BOOLit should focus on his next project instead of constantly updating Burst of Power. Now, don't get me wrong, Burst of Power so far isn't his most successful game, but in terms of, him not making a game really for the last 2 years or so, it, in my eyes, anyway, is a success. And honestly, I don't see anything wrong with the game, at least at the moment, personally. But that could just me being a fanboy, that could be me just being blind, and a lot of other factors. Like, I literally made a manga for this game, so I'm more connected because I have my own stories and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, let's get into why I think BOOLit should focus on a new project. So first of all, is because the formula of Power Level Warrior is in itself kind of getting boring. I mean, don't get me wrong, Burst of Power is a completely new game style, I guess, way to put it, or way to play. I mean, it does feel like Power Level Warrior, essentially, but that's what my whole point of this, point is that the game stems from, or it basically has too many, I guess, callbacks to Power Level Warrior. And there's nothing wrong with that because, again, Power Level Warrior is a really good game. And I do have a lot of favoritism toward it and bias towards it in favor of it. So that could be it as well. But, again, it not being a bad thing. But at the same time, it is getting repetitive. And not only that, but what really puts the icing on the cake is the fact that we're using the same exact characters from the previous games. Yes, he did remodel some of them, but honestly, Risotto, like, I can barely notice a difference. I'm not saying there's no difference at all, but, I mean, if I was looking at them with a spyglass from, like, 100 miles away, and they were right next to each other, I would not be able to tell the difference. Unless one was in Sage form and the other was in base form, but that's beside the point. Okay, so another reason why I think BOOLit should work on a new project as opposed to focusing on Burst Power, which I still think he should update the game, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he should make it a super big focus. The other reason why I think he should focus on a new game entirely is so that he can focus more on features and he doesn't feel rushed in any way. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that BOOLit has ever rushed his games. I mean, has it felt like that? Sometimes yes, but again, that's subjective. And honestly, some people may think that, it is rushed or whatever, but we're talking about one developer here, and you give, oh, what about this developer? He did this in like 2 seconds. I don't give a crap. It's a mobile game we're talking about. Like, what do you expect this thing to have? You know what I mean? What it has already is honestly more than I'd expect out of any other mobile game. And again, it's one developer, so I don't see the big issue with that. But if BOOLit does really take his time with this next game and focus on implementing things that are just mind-blowing, with his somewhat formula of Power Level Warrior, I'm not saying the exact same thing, but with, like, power levels and stuff, but just, like, different overall, like, combat mechanics. I do think that that would, bring something new to the table and, really display his creativity. Because BOOLit, um, no one can argue with this, he is very creative, okay? I'm not saying he doesn't take reference from anything, because obviously he does, but he is a very creative person, and that's what I really like about BOOLit, and that's why I appreciate his games, because they're, for the most part, thinking, or thought outside the box. And honestly, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, wasn't trying to imply that people say that, but yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? So then, another reason why BOOLit should focus on this new game is because awkward silence. No, I'm joking. Is because it has the opportunity to branch out new characters, and BOOLit doesn't have to have really that big of a story behind it. I think the reason why Burst of Power had a story behind it is because people requested one from the final Power Level Warrior, and so BOOLit wanted to follow up on that. However, due to how the manga went, and that BOOLit said that he doesn't want to really focus on the manga too much, and then he ended up not doing it at all, which is why I'm creating the manga at the moment. This way, he doesn't really have to focus on story too much, he can just focus on gameplay. But with Burst of Power, you could argue, oh, but Base Brawler, what's the point of saying that? He's not working on the story anymore, so it's the same thing with Burst of Power. Well, Burst of Power is the same game we've been playing for a couple months, okay? This is a completely new project, so BOOLit, right off the bat, won't have to feel drained or anything from, you know, trying to add a story and, you know, getting the story itself, then from that, you know, drawing the manga and all that jazz. Like, he doesn't really have to focus on that. He can just focus entirely on gameplay, on art style, on features, stuff like that, and with Bursts of Power in his way, that's going to be a lot tougher to do. And last but not least, the reason why I would rather have BOOLit, and this one's actually kind of more, you know, I've kind of been bashing, I guess, Burst of Power in this video. Not super hard, and I'm not saying it's bad, but, you know, I would honestly rather, you know, play something new, I guess. I'm not, again, not saying it's bad, but this right here is going to be a compliment and kind of contradict what I just said, but whatever. So, the last reason why I think BOOLit should focus on a new game entirely is because Burst of Power, in my opinion, is perfect already. I don't think BOOLit needs to add anything else to make this game better. Okay, I take that back. I don't think BOOLit needs to add anything major to make this game better. The only thing that I think BOOLit should add to this game to make it better is, like a permanent ranking system, or, you know, like an endless ranking system or something like that. You know what I mean? Where you're constantly fighting new enemies, and they're all random, and Mista appears more often, because currently Mista doesn't really appear in the rankings or anything. And I think that would be really cool. But outside of that, guys, I could play this game for days at a time. Like, literally days, like, without sleep. Like, I would not mind playing this game for days. Like, if someone had a gun to my head and said, play Burst of Power all day and night without stopping, I would, without hesitation. It's just that good. And, you know how in the final Power Level Warrior, when I do the levels, like, repeatedly for the XP and everything, like, it's more fun to do that on here than in the final Power Level Warrior for me. I don't know why, it just is. Your screen is moving constantly. There's just more going on, like, on the screen. There's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of information and stuff like that. So anyway, before I get off track, like, my whole point with that is Burst of Power, in my opinion, is already perfect as it is. BOOLit doesn't really, in my opinion, have to add anything too major to it to make it better. If he did, that would be great, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell BOOLit what to do or whatever. If he has plans and he knows what's best, then go for it. But I'm just saying that I think BOOLit should focus on the new game. That way it ends up being a lot better than we could even imagine, you know what I mean? A lot greater. So that would be really cool. And again, he doesn't have to do that, but would be nice. And these are just my thoughts about this kind of stuff, so, you know, take it as you will. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Bursts of Power and the final Power Level Warrior content. I will get to making videos of that again soon. And have a nice day if you're not already, and goodbye.